Welcome to YG TV and YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. I'm your host, David Belman, president of Belman Homes. YG Workshop is a collaborative environment designed to help businesses see their blind spots and consider new perspectives. Our panel of experts work together to share knowledge and tailor advice to help an entrepreneur achieve their business goals. Today, the team and I are helping Jamie Shibley, CEO of the Expressory. Let's meet the panel.
I'm Lori Highby, CEO and founder of KEYSTONE Click. We are a strategic digital marketing agency.
I'm Ariel Kopac, founder and owner of Harness Your Hindrance, serving business owners and sales professionals with mindset business coaching.
I'm Mervyn Byrd. I'm a VISTAGE chair and executive coach.
I'm David Belman, president of Belman Homes and one of the founders of the Young Guns movement.
Welcome to First Federal Bank of Wisconsin. Here at the bank, we pride ourselves on providing the community bank difference. To us, it's more than a tagline, it's how we serve our customers and support our communities. When you work with us, you can expect quick local decision making, a great customer experience, and a significant community commitment. As experts in the products and services we provide, we are here to help you achieve your financial goals. Proudly serving the Milwaukee metropolitan area since 1922, we look forward to serving you and showing you what the community bank difference is all about.
Circle Electric is a 35-year commercial, industrial, and healthcare electrical contractor with engineers and designers on staff, backed by the most technical and well-trained master and journeyman electricians. Whether it's an equipment move, new building, or commercial remodel, from pre-construction all the way through startup, primary power, branch power, or low voltage systems, they are here to support you. Our 24/7 on-call service department is here to meet your electrical needs for our industrial and healthcare customers. You always hear safety first. They are safety always. Circle Electric will maintain electrical reliability for business continuity.
For more than 80% of families, today's medical billing practices are confusing. At HPS, our goal is to improve the healthcare experience for the patient by making medical bill payments less stressful. In Wisconsin, that's all made possible by our comprehensive independent healthcare provider network. We simplify billing and lower costs for everyone involved in healthcare and offer various ways for individuals to pay without breaking the bank.
On this episode of YG Workshop, we are joined by Jamie Shibley of the Expressory. Welcome to YG Workshop.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your business. What is the Expressory and how did it come to be?
How did it come to be? So it's been about almost a 6-year journey now. The Expressory is a strategic gifting agency. We work with leaders who want to accelerate their business growth through a more unique and natural method, right? So we build the relationships that grow their business through identifying strategic gifting opportunities as well as a more sustainable nurturing process with them. So we're going to look for ways to take, a warm lead and turn it, convert it faster, or work with existing clients and get them to sell for you, or maybe repeat. So how did the process come about? The company come about? My background is in IT and e-commerce. And so when I left corporate world, I actually launched an e-commerce site, and I was focused on selling handmade greeting cards. And it evolved as I was marketing it. What kept coming forward is business leaders kept wanting us to, these are amazing, but you write it, you do this for us. And so when we really looked at, okay, what is the market asking for? There's this whole space of helping these business leaders who, as their companies get so big, they want that personal touch, but they can't be the ones to do it anymore. And so we bring that leadership of how can we do this in a way that's natural and consistent and help you accelerate your business growth.
Well, it's a fantastic business idea and model, and there's certainly a lot of need for it. And I think, those personal touches really do make for, a great experience as you're trying to onboard clients and get them, as part of your company. So knowing that, I know you came here for a reason, and that you have some questions for us on kind of the next step and where you go. So what is your most pressing question for our panel?
Well, as you know, we are coming up to year-end and holiday season. And that is a big deal for us. Probably about 70% of our business happens in those, last 3 or 4 quarters of the year, like most retailers. But where we have struggled consistently, and over the last 4 years, is how do we get these business leaders to think further ahead and plan for this? Because I get it, it's summer. Nobody wants to think about holiday stuff, right? I mean, you hate when you go into the stores, right? And now I've got Christmas ornaments already. But the reality is, for a lot of business owners, showing year-end appreciation to their clients and to the relationships that help grow their business is a big deal. But we often don't do it until last minute. And what's funny is because this is where I knew this business was a thing, is because the market was telling me, we need your help, and I didn't get it, and then guess what? My Christmas card sat that year, and that was my thing, right? Like, I made things for people. It's just what I wanted to do, and it fell by the wayside. And so this is what happens for a lot of business owners if we don't get to it. And so we tried a few different things. One year we tried a sale, Christmas in July. If you plan ahead, we'll even give you a discount to do this, right? One person. And then we've tried, okay, we're gonna make this easy. We've got a list of options. We're gonna narrow this down. Okay, it'd be 2 people. So, you could just use the thoughts.
So basically the question is, how do you get clients to think ahead so that you can, not be pulling your hair out in November, December, trying to fulfill all these orders?
Yeah, and you think about what COVID's done, right? We all are experiencing this. The supply chain is a mess. The shipping is a mess. And so it's become even more important to get ahead of this stuff, or you're penalized with paying more or not being able to get the products you want.
Absolutely. Well, it's a great question. It's very timely, and I think there's, a lot that we can discuss here on that. So before we really dive into that question and answer it for you, though, we've got to understand a little bit more about your business. I'm sure our panelists are itching to ask you a couple quick questions. So with that, anyone want to start?
I'm curious.
I saw blank stares for a second, like, uh-oh, no questions?
During the holiday season, is it more repeat customers or is it new customers? What does that percentage look like?
Great question. I would say it's probably 80% repeat, right? So we definitely know, and we can use that information. And then you're usually getting about, you want to pick up the 25, ideally more, new. Mm-hmm.
For your repeat customers, what's the majority of the market that consists of? What are the commonalities of the people who are your repeat customers?
Good question. So industries, clearly we span industries, so not much there. I mean, obviously when you become a customer, it's because you have that, you're more of a nurturer in the first place, right? It's kind of where you come from. What else would be? They want someone to, it's easier for them if someone else can just do it, make it happen. What else do I see?
So they're busy people, obviously. They're maybe a longer sales process. Is that kind of what you're trying to say?
I don't know if it's longer. They make quick decisions once you get them to, yes, I need to, right? Like, I also find if you can prep, like if you can go to them, so it's getting the time from them to just talk it through and make the decision is where the hardest part has come, or where the struggle has come.
Jamie, describe your ideal client, not what you currently have, because that may or may not be your ideal client. What does your ideal client look like in your utopia?
In my utopia, so we're starting to bring some of them in a lot faster, and they are some of them 7-figure business already, right? They've got teams from 5 to 10 people. They're growing like crazy, and they recognize the value in spending money to nurture a client is in their benefit or a prospect, because it leaves such an impact that, okay, let's say in the course of a few months, if you're spending $3,000, they can convert and make $30,000 or more on there. So their packages are such, their offering is such that they might have a package that sells for $10,000, $7,000 to $10,000 is their offering. I guess that's what that client looks like. They're signing maybe hundreds of clients of their own at a time. Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. I'll let you go out of order.
All right. No, yeah, I didn't know we were doing an order thing.
It's all good. You didn't get the memo.
Never mind. So thinking about your clientele, thinking about your business as a whole, tell me what would happen if you had more consistent income instead of the seasonal type of business that you have. Tell me what would happen if it were more consistent throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, and it's a great question, because that's where you try to move this. So what is starting to happen, because it's getting there, it's allowing us to carry more inventory. It's allowing us to have more on hand, so that when they do make these last minute decisions and they decide, oh yeah, I want to do that, and by the way, I need 50 of them, well, we might have them on hand, rather than saying to you, well, we missed that date because we don't carry this stuff. It's when you decide, we go get it. And so it allows us to serve them better by having more of that inventory. It allows us to definitely think ahead for them, because we can go source a lot more unique ideas, again, having them on hand, but whereas today we couldn't, because we just don't have that volume, if that makes sense.
So my question for you is a little different direction. What is your current communication and messaging strategy right now with your existing clients? How does that look?
How's that look? So we, clients and then our newsletter list. We do monthly newsletters where we are now moving to more of an influencer authority figure method, where we're giving them examples of how our clients are using some of our methodology and the wins that they're getting. We also use social media to showcase, okay, here's some new ideas and how people are using them. Because what we have found since day one, when I show you ideas, if I'm here with 3 different things, I would never forget how the Halloween was approaching, and we had a gift of chocolate bars and a really cool looking card and a couple other gifts. And business owners would walk up and they're like, yep, I need to do that. I need 40 of them. Yep, I need to. So what happens is, there's so much available to us. I can't possibly make a decision because there's too much to sift through. But if we come to you, because we're your concierge, your relationship building concierge, and we say, here's 3 ideas, you're going to be able to quickly pick out the fit, right? And that's the mode we want to be in, is we want to know you and how you work so well that we can come to you and say, here's the 3 things we think would fit you.
Looks familiar.
Look at that.
And you produced that for us, so thank you.
And understanding how you were what you were trying to accomplish and nurture these prospects. So that's the role we want to be in. So we're teaching a lot more.
So the second part to that question, just to, how are you delivering that monthly newsletter? Is it a physical newsletter? Is it email? How are you doing that?
Yeah, email, videos within the email. And then we create posts based off of that to also link them to those landing pages.
Okay. Other questions?
from my understanding, your business is very much about the client experience and the creating advocates, all of that. It's very experiential when I think about your business. So in alignment with David's question about the communication, what is the client experience that you're looking to produce for your clients through the Expressory?
Oh, I love you, Ariel. This is so good because this is where I'm trying. My new test this year is what if we, as the Expressory, sent all of our clients gifts well ahead of time. So in September, our holiday year-end gifts go out with the coolest new finds that we have that showcases, we've created that. I mean, we've always done our own gifts, our year-end, but it goes out with everybody else's in that time. But the thought we had is, if we did it in August, September, maybe they'd look at that and get excited and it would prompt them. Plus, we're planting the seed of, look at these things you could use, right, as you're gifting. So I think we're aligned in maybe where you were going with that. We also try to walk the talk. When we welcome new clients, we send them a welcome package. Birthdays, we do year anniversary. We're trying to do all the things that we commonly teach. Because we want you to know how that feels, right?
I'm going to take Ariel's question and twist it a little bit.
Yes.
What is the experience that your clients are expecting of you, especially when it comes to the holiday time of year?
So what are they expecting to receive themselves from us?
Yeah, and the outreach that you have to help them organize this big gifting time of year.
That's a great question. Maybe one I don't necessarily fully know the answer to yet. We've thought it's to provide them the examples or the ideas, right, the proposals, and to project manage this for them, right? Because in the past, we've given them, here's your dates. As long as you hit this, we're good. But maybe we don't know the answer to that, so that's a great question. Yeah.
Jamie, I want to shift a little bit.
Yeah.
And ask you, what's really at stake here?
For me or them?
That's a tough one. Yeah.
For you.
Well, for me, my goals, because when I create my projections for our business growth, a lot of that hinges on the last quarter and into the first quarter of the next year. So, going where I want to go as a business depends on if we can continue to grow this time frame at the pace we project. Yeah, and then, therefore, continuing to have a business.
I think what Mervyn's trying to get at too is there's sort of that financial, but how is that affecting you personally as well? Because obviously that could be a lot of stress.
Yes.
Is that kind of what you're trying to get at?
Yeah. I mean, there's a security aspect that's not there currently that has to be causing, right? Because you're doing everything in a 3-month period of time.
Yeah.
Instead of spreading out over a 12-month period of time. That has to be causing some sort of angst and stress and.
Yeah. When you think about life, right, from a personal standpoint, I can't have the same holiday as everybody else because we're working through it. Because not only are we doing year end, but then we do New Year. So right back after Christmas, we're shipping out New Year, right? So I have been dreaming, kind of figuring out, okay, if we knew that here's what it looked like every year, I could plan from an employee standpoint, right, from a staffing and production standpoint. If I'm dreaming big, what if we could shut down for that week of Christmas and we could all just be gone and enjoy that with our family? That's ultimately what I'd like to get to. Right now, we work our butts off. I mean, from the end of October through middle of January. And last year, it was exhausting.
I bet. Just a quick question that I have. Do you currently have any incentive programs to drive people to do things sooner?
We tried that.
Yeah, I know you mentioned
Yeah.
that. Was that part of your overall plan, or did you just try it and it didn't work?
Didn't work.
Okay.
It almost, to the point that it made me think that the reverse might be true. Okay, so it's not a discount I give you. If you don't do it by this time, then it's a fee. It almost seems like that's the driver. If you watch what's happening with like U.S. with the post office, and like they're all starting to tack on, if you're not planning before, here's what you get.
Sure. Yeah, and it's, I think we can kind of shift maybe into the advice portion a little bit. I think that's a good segue into that, and we can kind of dive into that part a little bit further. So I think, we've got a general idea of, your business and some of the challenges and what you're trying to accomplish. So kind of going back to the original question, how do you make a case for clients to think ahead? That's really what we're trying to solve here. So with that, who would like to jump in and provide some advice to Jamie? Ariel, you're ready to go. I can tell.
Well, you asked a great prompting question. The thought that's coming to mind right now is so much of what you're saying is, how do I get my clients to be proactive? How do I get my clients to think ahead? And instead of putting that ownership on them, taking that ownership upon yourself of, how do I plan ahead for my clients? How do I set them up for success? How do I get them on board with planning versus expecting them to plan? Because you're talking about business owners and people who have a lot on their plate, and one more thing to think about or one more decision to make, they're like, I'm out. So how do you take that ownership and lead, as you're doing in many other areas of your business, but then apply that same mentality to your process, your program, your subscription model perhaps, with getting people on board for planning for the next year? And you have 80% repeat customers. That's fantastic. Don't wait until July to get them thinking about the next season. Get them thinking about the next season in this season. They're already in that mode, they're already in it. So how do you get them planning ahead for the next year in that year?
Okay, thank you.
I love that. And I'm going to go back to the question that I had asked and really recommend that you have the conversations with the top 80% that's actually bringing revenue into your door, that you love those clients, and ask them what their expectations are of you and how you can best be a resource to them during the chaos of the holiday season. And if they would be interested in planning earlier, if that's just something that they're really not interested in, kind of jumping off of what Ariel's saying, is that at the end of the day, they're hiring you because of the service that you're providing. So if you're trying to shift that whole system, you may be losing them.
Okay, yeah, very fair. Thank you.
You know what I think about, Jamie? I think about people's pain points, and people don't change unless the pain of change is less than the pain of staying the same. And you're trying to ask people to do something that they're unaccustomed to doing. So quite frankly, I think the question that you asked is not the right question. The question that I think you should be asking is, how do we kind of eliminate this fact that we do 80% of our business in 3 months? And it goes back to, what's your ideal client look like? What does your ideal customer look like? I would go and attract more of those. You attract more of those, and all of a sudden your annual revenue is spread out evenly over a 12-month period. You're not so concerned about what's happening in October through January, right? Because you're not going to be pulling your hair out. You've already achieved your goals. So I think you'll be running into a brick wall trying to get people to change like this. You tried an incentive program that you thought would be amazing, and people they reverted back to what they're used to doing. No, I'm not gonna. I'll pay the extra. I'm good with that. I'm good with that, right? Because it's tough to get people to change. So you have to be the one to change your business model in a sense that you want to attract your ideal client throughout the course of the year.
So if you don't mind, what I love about that is I'm seeing that shift starting to happen, and now that you point that out, the new clients that we are attracting, that we are intentionally trying to go after, provide an extremely high, consistent order flow throughout the year, because they're doing this, they're spending more on an ongoing basis to welcome them rather than the businesses who just, they put their budget in just that one-time thing and we're good. And maybe I do some cards here and there. So what you're saying gives me a lot of hope that we're already starting to move that direction, and it's the right thing. So thank you.
And asking those people, who else should
Yes.
you be talking to that are like them, right?
Right.
And I'm
Thank
going
you.
to tack into that a little bit. So the reason I was asking you about messaging was that your messaging, you even kind of said it in your answer, was we're showing them, hey, here's the Halloween stuff that we're doing, here's the Christmas stuff that we're doing. Well, you get what you put out, right? So if you're always putting out, I'm all about helping you around the holidays and getting the stuff out around the holidays, guess what you're going to attract?
Yeah.
You're going to attract the clientele that's looking for the holiday item. Where I think with part of your messaging, if you become intentional with your messaging about, hey, gifts don't have to just be about holidays. Gifts can be about, employee birthdays, because those happen all throughout the year. Gifts can be about anniversaries. Gifts can be, hey, you just did a great job. Whatever it is, that you want to use for your messaging, think about it in those terms and then communicate that to your client, because that will naturally then help fill in maybe part of that, calendar for you. So you're not, relying only on the holiday income.
Okay, good, yes.
Another thought about the client experience. This is a tough dynamic with business growth. As you grow, your target clients change, right? Your existing clients change, your business changes, your staff changes, and getting ahead of that change is a constant challenge. But with that said, when you can get ahead of the change, meaning that you're setting up your business and your client experience for the client that you want to have versus the client that you currently have, that's how you get ahead and continue to level up in advance. So thinking about the client experience for those clients who are seven-figure businesses and might be open to assigning someone to being the go-to person for the Expressory and their client experience, and that person meets with someone on your team quarterly and you're talking quarter one about quarter four, that's how you get that planning going. And then also maybe you say, now do you want to pay for that over the next 3 quarters, or do you want to pay for that in quarter 3? And so that's way of leading your clients in that strategic planning. And with the clients that you are looking to continually bring on, they will be in alignment with that strategic planning mindset.
Good, thank you. I like it.
One other thing I just noted, we just touched on it, I just want to make sure that we close the loop on this. You had talked a little bit about, you tried to incentivize people and it didn't quite work. And then you talked about maybe, I don't want to say de-incentivizing, but obviously you have to be careful with the wording of it. So maybe it's a rush fee, and use that also again back to the communication. I'm big on the communication part. So maybe just putting right in your newsletters and things like that, like, hey, the deadline to avoid the rush fee for Christmas orders, and maybe sending that out in October or whatever it is that you need. So what I would suggest is look at like your calendar and figure out, when is the the drop dead date, and then move it up a couple weeks, and then say like, this is the deadline. After that, there'll be, a rush order fee or whatever you want to call it. And I'm a big kind of incentive, de-incentivizing. So I'm like, maybe there is something where you try a little earlier, like maybe there is a little discount. I'm okay with that. But then it's sort of the pleasure and the pain kind of going back and forth. Hey, if you're really ahead of the ball game, I'll give you a little break if you do the Christmas in July. But yeah, if you're calling me in November for a Christmas order, there's gonna be a rush fee on it.
I almost wonder if the time we tried to do the sale, that was in the communication. It's the order by this date, it's 10%. But I wonder if being more of the concierge and have the account manager, when we're talking to you in this quarterly conversation or this monthly, that incentive it's a negotiation right? Like, hey, and by the way, here's what I'll do for you, right? Like, if you're willing to, then we'll go ahead, almost as if like, this is what I got you, rather than it being fully advertised. It's just something we kind of hold. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. And one last thought, and it's just something I want you to think about. I want you to think about the opportunity costs that you're experiencing by running around with your hair on fire for 3 months. You know, just think about that. What are you missing out on? Because you've kind of created this thing for yourself, right? You've created this is how we operate, and you've kind of trained your clientele that this is how you operate. So what are the opportunity costs that you're missing by operating in this fashion instead of how you would like to?
Right. Well, being ahead, right? Having those, continuing to work ahead. And I love all this because we're going the right direction with who we're trying to attract, because you're right. They will be more in alignment with planning ahead and being strategic. So good.
Well, good advice from the panel here. Appreciate it. Out of all the things that you kind of heard today, I know we threw a lot at you. What do you think is your biggest takeaway from today?
I love the really having a conversation about what is the expected experience during this time. And a very close secondary is just the planning ahead. Let's move more of that out of this time frame. It's a huge goal.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, I hope that this advice serves you well and you can put it to use, and I know that you're going to do a really great job in the future. So thank you so much for coming on YG Workshop.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thanks to Jamie for joining us today on YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. Do you know an entrepreneur that would like to be a guest on the show? Have them visit younggunsmovement.com to apply. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our podcasts so that you don't miss a single episode of YG TV. I'm your host, David Belman, president of Belman Homes. Thanks to our panel of Lori, Ariel, and Mervyn, and our guest, Jamie Shibley. See you next time.